It's the Honeydew Carpenter and the always beautiful Mrs. Honeydew Carpenter. This is our Saturday morning live show, and boy, we have a busy day today. We're right in the middle of Honeydew Carpenter University, where we're building these light and portable rocket mass heating systems. And man, they are turning out fantastic. Originally, I had planned on just having all the metal pre-bent up and just having them in kind of a kits, and they would get to pop rivet them together. But as a lot of you might know, I was in an accident, a vehicle accident. It set us back about 2.5 weeks when I couldn't work. And so consequently, I just figure everything happens for a reason. And as it turns out, I think it ended up being better. We have just the most awesome group of students here at Honeydew Carpenter University, and in the end, they got to be a part of the whole creative process of creating all the steps in the step-by-step book that I'm writing to build this for yourself. And you know, as I was talking to them yesterday, they were like, you know what? This is exactly what I wanted. You know, I'm glad that we got to take it from just a flat piece of sheet metal and see the whole creative process of laying it out, drawing the lines, shearing it, cutting it, bending it, and then pop riveting it. And I think this is just gonna be a precursor to other Honeydew Carpenter universities, where I am going to, instead of just having too much pre-ready, I want to take people through the whole creative process so they, you know, understand how things like this are just kind of created in people's minds, creating something out of nothing. But we have a really great group of people here, and what are you guys doing? Oh, they're watching the live show.
Look, you guys. We'd show you how busy they are, but they look like they're watching something on TV.
Yeah, don't bug us.
Oh, they're watching a live show. So we've got a banner with our logo behind us.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
That's a thank you from Steve Millward in Pocatello, an amazing guy that helps us out and is a great man.
Right, and if we kind of pan over here, and maybe, oh, you can see all the bases. We've got a bunch of the shells and all the doors and everything already made on a bunch of them. And over behind the group, we have the rest of the fire boxes that get poured in aircrete in them. And over here, we have one installed over here. And you can see how the stove is turning out. I decided to put these beautiful aircraft aluminum machine handles on them. And so they're just gonna stick right on the front, and it's just gonna look absolutely gorgeous. I don't know, can they see that? If you pull the door off, you can kind of get a sense for what the front. Can we pull that camera a little closer, sweetie?
I'm going to actually pull it down and show them the inside.
Yeah, you can kind of get a sense for what the inside firebox with the alumina, cement, ceramic fiber core fire brick box looks like. Now, as we went through the process, the people in the group, they contributed immensely to different processes that I'm going to be writing about and whatnot, because there were certain steps that we did on step 2 or 3, and then we got all the way built here, and Greg is like, you know, you could do this whole front piece in one piece if back in step 2, before we put the cap on it, we just made it in one piece and then dropped it in. And you know, that's what's really cool about this whole creative process. and being a part of the university, you get to contribute. And as I write the instructional manual and book for people that we're going to send out as rewards for the Kickstarter, and that we're going to put on our Etsy store, when people contributed like that, I'm going to give them credit. And I feel like over the past week, we have just created some friends for life. All of them have told me that they want to come back, you know, and they want to do it again next year, which is awesome.
Right.
It's just absolutely awesome that they had a good enough time and that they're learning enough that they thought it was of a high enough value that they would want to come back. And I look at like Terry, he's from Alaska, and he brought his son who is from Oklahoma, and I just kind of get the sense that there's a little bit of reconnecting going on there, and it's kind of cool to be a part of that whole thing. Greg come down from Canada, and he has just been an absolute, I mean, he reminds me of the old story of Edison and his assistant Barnes. He's just like, I'm just going to go and I'm going to be a part of that no matter what. And he came down from Canada, and on his way down through to Colorado, he stopped and he met us. And then he went on to a job he was doing in Colorado, and then he came back to the university, and we just feel like we have a friend for life there. Of course, Lori from South Carolina, her and Mrs. Honeydew are like peas and carrots. And
I was actually telling Darwin last night that I'm going to be sad when Lori leaves because I've been really enjoying having a friend to hang out with.
right. And you know what? She's just an absolutely amazing lady. And then William from Tennessee is down here, and he said this is the first place he felt just like home. Like he doesn't want to leave. He wants to move here. Yeah. And
right.
so we just have a great group of people. They're all going to get to take a stove home with them, and we had a ton of fun. So let's answer some questions.
All
baby.
right, we can do that. All right, so Beaver Creek Farm Life put up our email, honeydewcarpenter1@gmail.com, so you guys can email us there. Edie Gray Wolf says morning from Seattle. So good morning. Mike Gunnels Ministry says hello. Kenny Beans. Hey, Kenny.
How you doing, Kenny?
He says good morning from East Washington and hope all is well.
It's all going awesome. Thanks,
Right,
Kenny.
thank you. Edie Rowland says cool sign behind you. Thank you. We love that sign. It's awesome. Beaver Creek Farm Life put up our Etsy shop, a link to our Etsy shop, so you guys can click on that link and check out and buy a foam mate. Paul says love you guys. Paul, thank you. Jeff Krupke says good morning from Spokane.
Oh, hey, how you doing, Jeff?
Right, good morning, Jeff. Kenny Bean says what extensions are you using with SketchUp for the metal?
Oh, I don't know. I just used the free SketchUp. I'm not using any extensions yet, but I guess from what I understand, I am gonna have to buy the Pro model. It's like $900 to buy it, so that I can do the extensions and transfer these into a CAD, so that any machine shop can just plug them into their computer. We'll see how it goes.
So Edie Graywolf says it can't be any more live than when you were there.
Right.
Alan Ingalls says good morning from Southeast Kansas. Well, good morning. Beaver Creek Farm Life has put our website link on there, so you guys can click
Thanks,
on that.
Alan.
Right, thank you, Alan, and check out our website. Andrew Gardner says good morning from Southwest Louisiana. Wow, Louisiana, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Beaver
You know
Creek.
that's where Alan's from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beaver Creek Farm Life put our Teespring link on there where you guys can go on and purchase a t-shirt, a sweatshirt, or
HDC.
a coffee mug. Check out these cool shirts, you guys, and go get one. Thank you, Alan, for everything you're doing and putting those links up. You're awesome. Kenny Bean says awesome, and it looks great. Thank you.
Yeah, it's just turning out so beautiful, and just the kind of the industrial look of them is, I don't know, it's just crazy. If you look at the doors, you know, we're finishing the doors today, and this one has the slider piece in it, even though we haven't drilled the holes out yet.
Right.
You can see how the slider is going to allow you to open and close the holes in the front after we get the slider drilled.
And we're getting a lot of help from William and Greg on doing that and getting it all lined up. They're doing awesome. And WC says, good morning, honeydew. ED Roland says, great work. Looks fantastic. Beaver Creek Farm Life says, good morning from Southeast Louisiana. Good morning, Alan. Kenny Bean says, going to add on a pellet feeder.
I particularly like how the legs turned out on the stove.
He's pretty proud of that. It was a cool find at ArmySurplusWarehouse.com.
Yeah, thanks,
Or
Dana.
.com. I think that's our website. But yeah, that's that store.
That's right. That's
ED Roland says, good morning from Spain. Wow. Good morning back. Spain, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think I am sending him a foam mate, and it should get sent early next week.
Awesome. A Revolutionary Hippie says, have you hold a real house yet? I was thinking about aircrete or earth bags, which would honestly be better.
Actually, I don't know. I do know that all the students that came to Do Carpenter University to do this, they had an opportunity. We went to the aircrete shop that I built Grandpa and had lunch, and they got to go in it and see the construction of it. And the comments were phenomenal. They just couldn't believe how sturdy and how well it turned out. And what I'm looking at doing is getting some property and then building a bunch of tiny homes, an earth bag, a straw bale, an aircrete dome.
And Terry had a lot of great ideas for us on that. I need to buy you.
Yeah, he did. Terry has done a lot of legwork in the preliminary drawings and all that creative process that goes on behind the scenes that most people don't see. They just want to see a video of the finished product, and he's been sharing a lot of that with us. And so my whole goal is to just bring a community of people that love doing this stuff, and when they share stuff like that, I want to make sure they get credit and stuff. And so it's been a really fun experience.
Have you built a real house yet?
No, but I could call that shop behind Grandpa's house a tiny house. All you'd need to do is stick a bed, a wash basin, and a rocket mass heater in it, and it would make a great tiny house. I'd live in it.
Right. Right. All right. So Donald says, glad to see you in good shape with that nice stove and all these friends. Watching from Montreal, Quebec, Canada.
Oh, awesome.
That's awesome. Beaver Creek Farm Light says, please hit the thumbs up. You guys, hit the thumbs up for us. Give us a like. Jeff Krupke says, I'll be your friend for life. Right?
Awesome. Jeff stopped by and helped us in the very preliminary stages when we had just after we had dropped our shipping container.
Yes.
I think it was still snowing, so there was snow on the ground, and he helped us set up a bunch of the benches and stuff in there. And so it just seems like Kenny Beans came down, and all of them say the same thing. They say, you guys are in person are exactly like you are on camera. So I think that's why our channel has grown so well. We just try and be straight and be real with people, and not be something we're not, I guess.
Forrest Bear says, hi guys from Southern Illinois. Love the videos. Thank you, Forrest Bear. Tin Bender says, good morning from Omak, Washington. Omak. I forget. You told me how to pronounce it last time.
Well, he's a tin bender. What do you think?
And Washington. When are you going to fire up the first fire?
Oh, it'll probably, the first one I'll fire up will be in Julie with Dirt Patch Heaven. She is the channel that helped the Honeydew Carpenter get started.
Right.
And so I'm building her a stove right now, and that'll probably be the first one that we fire up, because it'll be the complete system, meaning the stove, the insulated exhaust going all the way out, and a window insert, and the insulated double wall aircrete stovepipe going all the way up and through a bench. And so that's probably going to be the first one that we fire up. Julie is so excited to have that in her home.
And Buyingly says ×2 from SL. So they're probably saying good job or something from, yeah. Robert says, hey guys, thanks for sharing your life with us. Oh, thank you, Roberta. I think I said that wrong to begin with. Mike Gunnell's Ministry says, smooch that like button and like that smooch. All right. Paul says, good morning. How can you adapt the stove to feed slats by gravity? The height issue could be solved by telescoping the legs.
I'm not getting a visual of what you're doing. Although it intrigues me, go ahead to honeydewcarpenter1@gmail and send me a little rudimentary drawing of what you're talking about, and we'll talk about it. Thanks.
And William Craig got on and he says, hi to everyone from the Honeydew Carpenter University.
Thanks,
Thumbs up,
William.
smiley face, right?
I'm not looking at the camera because I'm looking at William.
Malber says, hello and congratulations from West Michigan. The stove looks awesome. Thank you. Peter says, hi from Whitby, Ontario. How much soap to the water solution?
I typically use Suave shampoo, and I use it at a 32-to-1 ratio. So 1 part soap and a quart of water, which is 32 ounces. And so a gallon takes about 4 ounces. If you want your soap to be just maybe a little stronger, you can put 5 ounces in it, and it works great.
Greetings from Sweden. Wow, Sweden just bought the large foam mate and wand a few days ago. Looking forward to testing it. Yeah,
I haven't got that one sent out yet, but I will. That's another thing, guys. We still have a business to run while we're putting on this university, and these guys have been so much great help. We only had an hour and a half to get some foam mates completed and get them to the post office, and they all chipped in and helped us knock them out, and it was just such a great blessing. So
all right, so Tin Bender says, good job, Melanie, and the stove looks awesome. Thank you, Tin Bender. Kenny Bean says, what about in addition to turning it into wood pellets for some auto feeding overnight in the greenhouse?
Yeah, I actually drew a drawing of it, and I did a whole video on that last year, to where you could have an alternate door that would have a window, that would have a window in it. And then there would be cleats by the window where the window tempered glass would drop in. Now, you could always just pull the glass out and then drop in a hopper that would allow it to feed into the about 4 inches back beyond the front of the stove, and then the oxygen rushing in through the damper holes would just run it all night. So I have drawn up an option like that, but man, it has been a quite a creative process, and we haven't gotten everything that I wanted to get done. But there's going to be a couple of these guys that are going to stay back a couple of days and help us finish these stoves. And the ones who have to fly out and get them shipped, we're going to do some minor legwork after the fact, and at least get them all bent up so they can ship flat, and get them pre-drilled, so all they have to do is pop ribbon them and put them together when they get to their location.
William Oakes gives us a thumbs up. Thank you, William. And let's see, Mark Wilson says, hey y'all, I'm so handsome. Okay.
We have something in common, Mark. Man.
Kenny Bean says, we going to get some feedback from the HDC University. Grads, oh, my thing moved. Where did it go? Okay, we're going to get some feedback from the HDC University grads on the video clip on what they learned and all stuff of Air Creek. Yes, we're actually going to record our feedback.
And some interviews with them.
Them. That's going to get done today, and it'll be on one of our videos. So great idea, and thank you.
Yeah, we haven't got an edited video out today, which normally happens, but that's because we've been just so busy.
Yes.
Building these stoves, because we're building 5 of them at once, and a lot of the processes along the way we were able to just kind of do an assembly line and cut out all the parts and then bend all the angles. It's a good thing Terry brought his son William from Oklahoma, because he really took to the sheet metal equipment like a duck to water, and has been really instrumental in helping us get these little parts all busted out. So
yes, and okay, so that is a great idea, and we are going to do that. And we're also thinking of moving the day that our weekly video comes out to like maybe a Tuesday or a Wednesday every week. So let us know what you guys think about that. Jeff says, will you send one finished stove to get EPA and UL listed?
You know what? There are a lot of the EPA and the UL listings are for stoves that people want to put in regulated areas, like in cities and in towns and whatnot. They already have building codes and whatnot where you can have a fire engineer go and certify a specific homemade stove and say, yeah, that's fine for home use, because it falls within all the parameters of the building code and whatnot. I may have to do a Kickstarter or something, and I think what it would end up being is we'll wait until next year. We'll let the stoves that are out there, 5 or 6 of them, get some feedback and see how much people really like them and how awesome they are, because I already know they're awesome because I built the one for Julie 2 years ago. And then I might do a Kickstarter to come up with the funds to get them EPA and UL listed. It's not a matter of submitting a form to the EPA. They literally require tens of thousands of dollars just to take a look at it, a product like that. And then if you alter it just a little bit, like you do the same thing but do it in a J-tube configuration so that somebody can just drop sticks in it and let them fire down, then you have to get it all recertified. And it has to be manufactured by the same manufacturer in the exact same methods and the exact same ways to maintain that certification. So these kits I sent out, it wouldn't even apply to them. And so it's the government regulations around the EPA are not our friend at this point. So but what I will do is I'll study the different building codes, and they will be viable in any rural area that aren't subject to the EPA certification air quality standards. Now, usually those air quality standards are just legislated in microscopic areas where they have air quality issues. And so we'll see. We want it to be available to as many people as possible, but we're going to have to see how far we can actually take this and how much interest there actually is in it before we start spending $100,000 to get the stove EPA certified.
Right. And Kurt Carlson says, "Good morning. This is Kurt Carlson from Newport News, Virginia. I love your show."
Oh, thank you.
Kurt Carlson, thank you. That's awesome. Peter says, "Can you use nylon rope, cut it up to 2-inch pieces, strands, and mixing it up into the slurry? Would you think that make aircrete stronger?"
Well, the problem I see with nylon rope strands, they would just fall apart, and all the hundreds of strands that are in whatever diameter nylon rope you're using would mix into the aircrete just fine. How it would bond to it, I don't know. If you look at a PVA fiber, polyvinyl alcohol fiber, which is similar to what you're talking about, under a microscope, it has all these little fine barbs and stuff on it, so it bonds really well with the cement. I would almost have to look at a nylon fiber from a nylon rope under a microscope before I gave that the thumbs up. But there's so many other options out there that are pretty inexpensive, where you can just throw a handful of fibers in, that I would lean more toward the stuff that's already been researched.
Paul says, "The telescoping front legs would deal with bending over to feed it. Could something be rigged to self-feed wood slats or long boards?"
Oh, yeah, we could. In fact, guys, I'm working on right now plans for J-tube configurations where the wood would just go in a vertical fashion instead of a horizontal fashion like in the back spots, and it could just sit and burn down as it went, and it would feed itself. Those stoves require a little more attention, because as the wood starts to diminish and the fuel source starts to diminish and burn away, you're going to want to cover the hole that it's feeding down. And so the J could either be a lot taller and you could put a slatted damper cover over the top or something like that. But yeah, there's going to be different configurations, and there's all sorts of different configurations of J-tubes and batch boxes that people use in rocket mass heating systems. And so I'm putting together plans for a 4-inch or 5-inch J-tube, a 6-inch, a 7-inch, an 8-inch, and I want to be able to ship these plans out with all the forms available for them, so that all you have to do is get a bag of the fire brick cement and just pour it over your plans, and then wait a day, and then just fold it up. If you haven't seen my video where I just take and build a firebox in a couple hours and just fold it up, you've got to watch that. I'll go grab a firebox right now and show you how they ended up.
Okay. So Peter says, "How did you guys meet? Tell all." Oh my gosh, that is a funny and maybe a little different story. So here we had some singles dances going on, and Darwin and I both went to a singles dance, and I went into the singles dance and it was hanging out for a half hour, 45 minutes, and I was like, oh, this is lame. I'd seen one guy who gave me the look up and down, you know, when you walk in and they're like head to toe look, but he never came and asked me to dance or anything. And so I left. It was some bald dude, you know, and so I left and I went to leave because I'm like, I'm gonna go find something else better to do. I'm not getting asked to dance or anything. So I leave and I go out to the parking lot, and right next to my Jeep is parked a Harley Davidson.
I thought she would say no. She was so hot.
And so right next to my Jeep was this Harley, and I stop and I look, back at the building. I'm like, wait, there's some guy in there that has a Harley? And I stopped to think for a minute. I'm like, maybe there is someone cool in there. So I walk back into the building and I start asking around to see if anyone knows who drove the Harley to the dance. And so I walk up and I start asking around and everything. And I end up finding a girl that had dated him that said that she knew who drove the Harley. And I'm like, can you introduce me? And so she took me over and introduced me to Darwin. And I'm like, can I have a ride? He's like, yeah, let's go. And so we left the dance. He took me on a ride around the green belt on his Harley. And we went back to the dance. And then he did ask me for a dance. And then I saw him open his wallet. And he was going to get a card out. And then he decided not to and shut it and put it back in his wallet. And I'm like, wait a second, I want a second ride. You have to give me your number.
I don't remember it like that.
And so I had to get his number, and that's how we met.
Yeah. So, cool story.
So did you want to show something on the stove before I told the story?
Oh. Now, I just want to make sure that if they can see the, like on the corner of this stove right there, of that one, can you see the the reinforcement that I used to lay across the back before I poured them, and then I just fold them up?
Ed Rowland says EPA and UL will take a long time. It is expensive, and it isn't, because when we send out do-it-yourself kits to put it together, we don't know. That's something we have to honestly find out and answer too.
And guys, I have an EPA certified and a UL listed certified stove in the barn that is nothing more than this 20 gauge sheet metal with a layer of fire brick in the bottom of it and up the side about 8 inches where you put the wood. And I mean, as far as their certifications go and the parameters that you have to meet, this stove blows them all out of the water. But
that's because you built it.
To get them to say that, it is expensive. It's super duper expensive.
Terry Oaks says everyone needs to consider coming to the next HDCU. It is well worth the price for the knowledge gained. Thank you for saying that. That's awesome. E.D. Graywolf says Oregon has codes for rocket mass heaters as ceramic/brick stoves.
Everybody has. It falls into that category. I think it's ASTM 1396 or something like that. I forget the exact number. But it doesn't matter whether it's Oregon. It doesn't matter whether it's Idaho. They all have codes. Because you could put a masonry fireplace in any home. And it just has to meet the code. It has to be a certain away from any flammable wall surface and a certain thickness of masonry product that's fireproof and this and that. And like I say, the stove just blows all their, I've read the STM upside down and backwards, and it falls within them. So literally, unless you're in a town like Los Angeles or something that says you cannot put a stove in your home unless it has an EPA stamp, you can always call the masonry fire inspector in and say, look, here's the hearth I'm setting it on, and here's the the brick hearth going up the back, and this is where I set it, and this is how the stove is made and built, and they can sign off on it.
Isn't the aluma cement that we pour the burn box out of, isn't that classified as a...
It's a refractory fire brick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, George says, when can I buy the plans, and can it be built without a welder and sheet metal bender? We don't weld any of it, so yes, on the welder. The sheet metal bender might be a little bit harder. We got ours at Harbor Freight. It wasn't very much money, maybe $300. Yeah, $300. and you can do it with that. There is a video that where Darwin has bent metal using clamps and the edge of a table. It is a little harder that way getting your lines straight, but it can be done if you don't have the expense of buying the $300 machine. But yes, you can. Manolos, I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, says, good morning from Greece. I watch you with interest. Keep up the nice work. Thank you. Very, very nice. Jeff says, an update on Insiders Club. That is coming right along. We do have a guy that has set up a way for us to do it. Darwin was in the middle of putting up links and doing some stuff in the back of it when he had his car accident. And then we have the university. So I think that is going to be done really, really soon. Doug Webb says, good morning from Luther, Texas. I enjoy the Saturday morning updates. Thank you, Doug. That's awesome. Gail says, good morning to you two. Are you going to have more students at next year's university? We do like to keep our classes kind of small to make sure that we get time with everyone. But we are looking at doing, like we offered 2 universities this time and only one of them filled up. And so we are offering more, and we will.
Yeah, as we go through the process and as these workshops become more popular, we're going to have to do more than 1 a year, probably 2 a year. And then the most I think I want to do is 1 every 90 days, so 4 a year.
And you have the specs there for the.
I do. And the crazy thing about it is they spec these things out with a 25% safety factor, so it has a service temperature for years and years of over 3,000 degrees, like 3,200 degrees, and they test these things to give them a 25% safety factor. So they were tested at over 4,000 degrees. It's a product from Herbison Walker. It's called VersaFlow 60, and it's for ceramic kilns, iron and steel foundries. They make crucibles out of it to melt steel in. It's an incredible product. Now, it's expensive, so it's over $1 a pound, you know, so it's not a cheap product. And typically, if you're going to get it shipped from anywhere to your home, you're going to be in at $100 just for your firebox. And then but this stuff, it's cold strength after being heated up to 230 degrees Fahrenheit. It breaks at 2,800 pounds per square inch. After you heat it up to 1,500 degrees, it jumps up to 13,000 psi. So 13,000 pounds per square inch. It's heated up to 3,000 degrees, it breaks at 16,000 pounds per square inch. So the hotter you get it, the stronger it gets. It is a UL certified stuff for making fire bricks, for making refractory, for industrial type stuff. And so, yeah, it's awesome.
Mark Wilson says, I'm glad my nurse woke me up. I would have been upset if I'd missed y'all today. Yes, I'm still healing, but glad to be home. We are glad that you're healing and getting better. And do take it easy after that fall. That could not have been fun. Edie Gray Wolf says, Rocket Mass heaters are mastered by Ernie and Erica Weisner.
Yeah, Ernie and Erica Weisner, they're one of the first people that I read their book. And a lot of the contributors to their book were from all sorts of different countries, from Germany and from all over the place. And so I used a lot of the knowledge and wisdom that I got out of that to create a portable one. They They mastered it, but it's still this huge permanent masonry project. If you move your house, you can't take it with you. And
Right.
so this one, you could put it on a hand truck and pull it up out of your basement or wherever you have it and put it in your pickup truck and take it with you.
Right.
That's why it's called light and portable.
Drawing for all, amazing work. Thank you. Beaver Creek Farm Life says, please hit the thumbs up. Yeah, you guys, give us a thumbs up, please. Buck says, I've been watching for an elevated version like a standard wood stove.
Well, that's what you got here.
So this is elevated. How high does it sit up off the ground?
The firebox where you feed it in is about, what, 7 inches off of the ground. The legs hold it up about 4.5, 5 inches, and then it comes up another 2.5 inches to the bottom of the firebox.
Air Creek Harry, you just made my day. Give me a big old smile on my face. Thank you. He says, good morning, my favorite YouTube couple. By the way, happy belated birthday. I knew there was a reason we were so similar, and that's because we're both Virgos.
I understand you're having a party this, not this weekend, but the following weekend. Man, maybe I'll have to go crash that party.
They're both Virgos. I'm September 4th, period. That's awesome, Air Creek Harry.
That would be fun if there was any way I could go
Right.
up there and meet Air Creek Harry. Ever since he's been in New York, I've wanted to
Right.
go
He
meet
invited
him.
us
He
when
did.
he was in New York and we couldn't make it.
Yeah, well, I had a job at the time, and we were broke, so.
Jeff says, hey Harry, hope the shed build is going good. You guys should check out Air Creek Harry. He is going to be doing a dome in a day project.
A dome in a day, that's mind-blowing.
Right?
And so, and I think he has an expert there that glues and laminates just a regular Tyvek wrap, and then they inflate it and expand it to do the structural, to put the dome on, and that's got to be a cool process.
Right.
So go check him out, guys.
Jeff Krupke says happy birthday, and Jim is wondering how you waterproof it.
How I waterproof?
Air Creek.
Air
So like our
Creek?
shed,
Oh.
how did we waterproof it?
I put stucco on it. Stucco is a great siding. It's waterproof. There's more than one way to do it. You can put a vinyl cloth on it and just spread an acrylic mortar that you make with Portland cement, and people call it milk, but it's a bonding adhesive that they add into the mortar, and then it just bonds on and it soaks through the cloth and onto the outside, and that also seals it really well. Of course, I'm working right now on doing some experimenting with some fast setting, high strength concrete shells to put over it using the CSA cement. That cement sets up so fast, guys, that whenever you mix it up, you have to add a little bit of citric acid into it just to give yourself some work time and slow it down. Mm-hmm. And so I'm wanting to be able to spray a shell onto aircrete, and then that would just open up a whole new world for different uses for it. I know Man About Tools did some garden boxes using my recipe to make some garden boxes. But when you run a weed eater by them, it kind of, aircrete just doesn't make a good wear surface.
Nope.
And so I'm putting together a high strength, fast setting spray that you could put in a receptacle on a spray gun and spray it on, and then have a really hard layer on the outside so that it would wear. And so, you know, it's a process.
Are you using water glass on the rocket stove?
I am, yeah. In fact, we're going to be using this mix, which is my open cell mix. You can see how open it is, and in another video I just poured water right through it. And so we're going to be making some water glass today, and we're going to be so that it's ready so that we can treat, because we're going to be pouring our insulation around our fire boxes today.
Right.
So,
All right, so a couple more questions and then we're going to go. E.D. Rowland says, love Aircrete, Harry. He is one of the Aircrete superheroes, like Honeydew's Aircrete superhero.
Right.
Thank you. And
He
yes,
is.
we agree 100%.
I didn't wear my comic book superhero shirt.
And Jeff says, hope I can attend next year's HDCU building up vacation at work. Awesome. We hope you can make it too. And Terry Oakes says 2 of the HDCU alumni are attending the Aircrete Harry's class. So of course it will be a success. That's awesome.
Oh, that's
all right.
cool.
You guys have a great day and we will talk to you
And
later.
I saw your Gmail, Harry, and I'll send you if there's any way possible that I can run up there at least for a day or two. I'm gonna do my darndest to get up there. I would I'll send you an email. But thanks, man.
You guys have a great day.